set is sold separately, and some assembly is required.
They're throwing the capsule overboard! Let's go get it! Joe! Joe!
G.I. Joe Shark comes with diver, Cobra water moccasin comes with driver. Each set and other figures sold separately from Hasbro.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. Today it's back to the cartoon and we'll be taking a look at the episode Cobra Stops the World. An episode where Cobra tries to stop the world. No, not literally. Though, to be honest, knowing Cobra, I'd actually half expect him to come up with a plan to actually stop the world from spinning.
We start off with Cobra having already stopped the world.
No, really. They've already put their plan into motion and are gloating about it. I feel like we're coming into this episode halfway through.
Attention, nations of the world. This is Cobra Commander. In the last 12 hours, Cobra has launched an all-out attack upon your energy resources. In the North Sea, Cobra Rattlers have reduced your offshore drilling stations to rubble. In the desert, our Hiss battalions have halted production at every major oil field. We have severed vital links in the Alaskan pipeline. Observe. This fleet of tankers carrying South American oil to the U.S. And now, witness the final phase of Cobra's plan to stop the world! Governments of the world, the choice is yours. Surrender control of your nations to Cobra, or face the nightmarish prospect of a new dark age.
Okay, there's so much wrong in that clip, I don't even know where to begin.
1. Attacks like that would lead to an environmental disaster on a scale that would make British Petroleum look like freaking Greenpeace. But this is never mentioned.
2. Many countries have strategic fuel reserves that would allow their militaries to still operate and hunt your blue ass down. 3. They only attack some of the fuel places, okay? They mention going to the desert, which I assume is the Middle East, but you know what? The United States itself has oil fields. 4. The sheer amount of people necessary to launch a simultaneous attack on all these places would require exponentially more troops than Cobra has ever shown to have. And finally, 5. Last but not least...
5 freaking tankers? 5 freaking tankers?! That is what they're gonna use to hold the world, or, well, at least the United States, hostage? 5 tankers wouldn't fuel Belgium for a day, let alone a real country.
We're just 2 minutes in, people, and this one is gonna hurt.
Anyway, how did they make the tankers disappear?
Cobra's got a cloaking device that makes them invisible.
My god! Cobra is run by the Romulans!
The Joes do have some leads. Scarlett is sent to a Cobra safe house they discovered, while Deep Six and Torpedo are to attack a Cobra base to look for clues. They're sent to attack a huge Cobra base by themselves. Of course they are. And of course, they pull it off. Yay! Torpedo's great! So is the Shark! What a great toy! I mean vehicle! Buy 'em! Buy 'em! Buy 'em! They don't find any clues though, so this was all a huge waste of time, and the hunt goes on. Duke and Ace get ambushed while they were flying over a jungle in Sierra Generico, and they reenact a trench run from Star Wars? Despite their best efforts, their Sky Striker gets shot down, and in a rare moment of clarity, a Cobra pilot actually tries to finish off the parachuting Joes. He fails, of course, thanks to the convenient river below. They soon get captured by Major Blood and the proud indigenous people of Sierra Generico.
Huh, where have I seen this before? Okay, first Star Wars, now Indiana Jones. George Lucas is gonna sue somebody.
Meanwhile, at Cobra's safe house, Scarlett walks up in disguise, and the thug at the door is quickly dispatched so she can burst in. Okay, this is supposed to be a bloody safe house. Why in seven hells are they all in uniform? You're supposed to be hiding. It's a safe house. You think somebody looking through the window is just gonna think, hey, those must be cosplayers. And by the way, since they just sent 2 guys to take out an entire base, of course they'll only send 1 person to take out a safe house. Look, I know G.I. Joe is supposed to be the best of the best, but come on, even the Avengers sent more people on a mission. Of course, Scarlett doesn't get any useful information either, and Cobra Commander takes over all televisions everywhere again.
Because he can do that. Because shut up.
Attention, nations of the world! Cobra will tolerate no further delays. Your indecision carries a terrible price, as I shall now demonstrate.
So he blows up one of the 4 tankers. Wait, 4? There were 5 before! Believe it or not, this actually helps the Joes, because now they can build a scanner that will home in on the signal that destroys the tankers. This idea is thought up by Sparks, a G.I. Joe that was invented solely for the cartoon series, since, at that point, they didn't have a dedicated computer guy on the team. Unless, of course, you read the comics, where Breaker fills that role. Meanwhile, Duke and Ace are being marched, somewhere, when they try the oldest trick in the book, the sick prisoner routine.
Really, why don't you just try the look behind you trick?
Major Blood's answer is to kill Ace, by throwing him into a snake pit that just happens to be there, right on their route. And quite frankly, I was expecting Ace to go, "Snakes, why did it have to be snakes?" But thankfully we're spared that. The distraction is successful, and they manage to escape. They find their way to the indigenous village that's been turned into an airstrip for Cobra. We also find out the reason for Cobra being there. The village has a diamond mine, and diamonds from there will power the cloaking device.
Wait, so diamonds power cloaking devices? The Romulans must be loaded!
Speaking of which, don't these guys remind you a little bit of Romulans? Look at them. It's the hair, isn't it? Anyway, Duke manages to get aboard a plane despite being shot at, and you know what? I'm just gonna stop mentioning that they never managed to shoot straight in the cartoon, since it happens every single time, and it's just a fact of life we're gonna have to live with. He rams the plane straight into the freaking mine entrance, which causes a chain reaction that destroys the entire Cobra air fleet.
You know, I wonder how many people are now buried alive in that mine. Unless just those 4 guys were the entire mining operation.
Ace managed to save 1 Rattler from destruction, and they use it to make their escape. Meanwhile, Sparks has managed to complete his scanner just in time, as Cobra Commander blows up another one of the 6 tankers.
Okay, so now there's 6? Cartoon, make up your damn mind.
Anyway, the scanner works, and they now know Cobra is located on the coast of Patagonia. Do you know why it's Patagonia specifically? There's only one reason, so they can make this joke.
Well, quit Patagonian yourself on the back and mobilize an assault force.
So the entire Joe team is sent to stop Cobra. Look, look, buy these toys, buy these toys, wow! Hovercraft, it really floats! No, it doesn't, but pretend it does, yay!
Finally, they're sending the entire Joe team. Because the way things have been going in this episode, I have expected them to go,
Okay, we found Cobra's hidden base. Timber, go deal with it! Grrr? Anyway, a short battle ensues, and the Joes manage to get the upper hand, thanks to Duke and Ace, who were confusing the Cobra troops by arriving in the stolen Rattler. Cobra's forces are quickly overcome, and the Jones storm the base. They immediately destroy the cloaking device. Well, of course, there's no way that kind of technology could ever be useful to the military, now could it? Cobra Commander only manages to escape thanks to a bad case of gas. And so the tankers are safe, and thanks to those 5, or 6, or 4, or, well, who cares? Thanks to that small number of tankers, the world keeps on turning. Ugh.
So, that was Cobra Stops the World. My conclusion? This episode blows.
Firstly, look, I know the G.I. Joe cartoon was made to sell toys. Let's not kid ourselves about that. But it was so blatant in this episode, it was really off-putting. Just look at the sequence with the shark. The entire sequence does nothing whatsoever to advance the plot, and it exists solely to show you how great a shark toy is. Secondly, they took plots and scenes here from Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Look, only George Lucas is allowed to reuse his own plots badly, okay? The final nail in the coffin is the completely unrealistic premise, with the 5 or 6 or however few tankers supposedly fueling the entire world, or at least the United States. Yeah, even as a kid I called bullcrap on that one. Now I know some of you might say I'm being unreasonable here. After all, we've seen an episode with ghosts in it, for crying out loud. So how realistic does it really have to be? Well, yes, but the premise for that episode was that ghosts existed. So there was a supernatural element already there. When you go for a plot that's set more in reality like this one, you can't stretch suspension of disbelief that much. For a better example of a more realistic plot done better, watch Cobra's Candidate, a plot where Cobra tries to rig an election.
Well, that about wraps up half the battle for this week, folks. But before I go, I do want to talk about something on a little more serious note.
Roger Ebert passed away last week, and well, I felt I should say something, because very, very indirectly, he was an inspiration.
You see, Roger Ebert, or I should really say Siskel and Ebert, were shining examples to a few people who wanted to become critics and do video reviews online. They succeeded and became big. And in their turn, they inspired others to also make videos. Some of them also made it big. And these people, in their turn, inspired yet more people. So now you've got hundreds of people all doing videos online and being so passionate about it, and it's great to see. Now, I'm not saying we wouldn't have video reviewers without Siskel and Ebert, but I really feel they helped. They helped a lot.
Doug Walker, who's the nostalgia critic, has mentioned that he has a tweet from Ebert praising one of his videos, and he has this tweet framed and hanging on his wall even.
And that actually reminded me of something that happened to me. When I started with my very first video, I started from scratch. I mean, I had a camera, I had a computer, and I had an idea. I didn't have any video editing software, I didn't have any voice recording software, and I didn't know how any of that stuff worked. As a result, from having just the idea to having 25 seconds of completed footage took me 5 freaking days.
Let me tell you something, 5 days of work for less than half a minute of film, that left me a bit demotivated. So, on a whim, I tweeted this at a well-known video producer, as well as asking him how the hell they managed to do this every single week. And I almost immediately got a tweet back saying these simple words: practice, patience, and determination. And that was all I needed, really.
Now, I don't have that tweet framed or anything, because that'd be weird, but it is one of the only ones in my favorites folder.
So, by being this damn good at their job and being so passionate, Siskel and Ebert started this chain reaction of inspiration that has motivated hundreds, if not thousands of people to make videos about whatever subject they are passionate about.
And for that, as cheesy as this is gonna sound, I can only do one thing: give him 2 thumbs up. See you next week, everybody.